Welcome to the Whiskey Jake YouTube channel. This week's tasting notes are about a special edition release, Jack Daniel's Eric Church Single Barrel Select. Before I dive into this particular whiskey, a little bit on Jack Daniel's. Two things. One, they make a great whiskey, despite what anybody might tell you. Two, this bottle is proof that marketing sells. Well, they do make a great whiskey. It doesn't necessarily fit my flavor profile, but as a fan of Eric Church, as soon as this bottle was released, I went out and picked one up. So those two things. Now, there's a lot of conversation, Tennessee whiskey, what is it and how is it different than bourbon? So for all intents and purposes, it meets all the criteria that to be a bourbon. It's, at least 51% corn, aged in new charred oak barrels, comes off the still at less than 160 proof and goes into the barrel less than 125 proof, and it's bottled at 80 proof. So it meets all those criteria. However, what separates it is the step between distillation and putting it into the barrel. All Tennessee whiskey goes through a charcoal filtering or mellowing. Essentially what they do is they take maple wood and they burn it down to its charcoal and ash, and obviously it's cooled down. And then over a period of weeks, they take the new make, the fresh distillate, and strain it through this charcoal filter. And then they barrel it and then they age it. So for all intents and purposes, it is a bourbon. They're very proud to call it Tennessee whiskey because of that Lincoln County process, that charcoal filtering. So the reality is that filtering process does strip some flavor out of it. Clearly not all of it. And there's a reason that they call it as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. And that is because of the effect that charcoal filtering has on it. Okay, so Jack Daniel's has one mash bill and they stick to it. It's 80% corn, 8% rye, and 12% malted barley. That has gone through the charcoal filtering process and then aged in new charred American oak. This particular one is the Jack Daniel's Barrel Select, is bottled at 94 proof. So the idea is that he kind of went through, this is basically the flavor profile that Eric Church likes in Jack Daniel's. In the nose, very small hints of muted vanilla. Basically means they're very subtle. There's not a whole lot going on with it other than that part. Some oak in the taste, vanilla. Yeah, it's kind of, there's not a lot going on in the palate. For me, the finish has definitely an oak finish to it. The barrel really comes out in that. But again, because of the charcoal filtering, and it curbs any kind of rough or burning sensation that people associate with whiskey. Yeah, it's clearly a Jack Daniel's product. If anybody's ever had Jack, you can kind of get that familiar zing or twang in the finish there. And all in all, it's a really cool bottle. Above anything else, if you haven't seen it, just another picture there. The whiskey inside is good. It It's not overly complex for me, comparatively speaking to some of the other things that I've tasted doing these or just in general, but doesn't make it a bad whiskey. It's all going to be about the mood you're in and what you're looking for. I mean, clearly it's good enough for Eric Church. It was clearly good enough for Frank Sinatra. I mean, how else can you go wrong there, right? If you find a bottle, it might be worth picking up if you're a Jack Daniel's fan. Even if you're not, it's not a bad whiskey to drink. But again, proof, marketing does sell whiskey. Anyways, if you find a bottle and you enjoy it, please let me know. If you don't, please let me know as well. Appreciate everybody that tunes in. Thank you for liking the videos. Appreciate it if you share them as well. Until next time, cheers.